Hey, it's Eric with Easy Finance here, and on this channel, I'm going to be discussing personal finances. So today I'm going to be talking about a guide that I personally did and I believe is a great way to get your personal finances in the right place and set yourself up for the future. So a quick analogy on personal finances and why I believe why I believe it's great to have them under control is, the day before work, have you ever got out all your clothes, laid them all out, made your lunch and packed it, even showered? If you're showering at night, I'm not really sure which, if you should shower at night or in the morning, but that's beside the point. Have you ever done all that stuff and then woke up in the morning and everything's ready? You're a happy person in the morning because you don't have to really do much. You just kind of pick up all that stuff and then leave. Well, personal finances, I believe, is a great way to set yourself up like that for the future. You're going to spend some time now, but in the future, you're going to like it. So I believe the first step to really doing this is to find your why. Anything that you're doing, you need to find the reason why you're doing it, because that's going to keep you motivated and accountable. So if your why is to create generational wealth or, to get out of debt, you don't want all these people taking all your money, just find your why. It's going to keep you accountable. It's not really a financial tip, but I believe that anything that you do that you're going to be on a long journey for, you need to have a reason why you're doing it. So step 2 of my list. So really this is kind of where the finances start. So I believe tracking your spending and creating a budget is probably like the foundation of personal finances. Tracking your spending, you can't really better yourself if you don't even know what you're bringing in and you don't even know what you're spending. For all you know, you could be spending more than you're bringing in and then just continuing to go into debt. So the first thing you probably need to do is maybe look at a previous month, let's say last month's, go through your bank app and just write down all of the money that you brought in the left side of a piece of paper and all the money that you spent on the right side. Just add them up and then just kind of see where you're at. That won't be necessarily perfect, but that'll kind of give you an idea of what an average month might be. So once you do this, that might by itself just open your eyes on what exactly you're spending, what you're spending it on. I mean, you could be spending $500 on food a month and not even really realize it, So writing this stuff down is going to give you a big picture of what you're actually doing with your money. So once you finally figure out your income and you can see what's coming in and going out, creating a budget is the next step. Creating a budget is such a good thing to, handle your finances, keep them on track. And you probably will go over them, time to time, but that's not a big deal. At least writing them down on a budget and trying to stay as close as you can, that's the thing. Because before, you're not doing any of that, you're just spending freely. Creating a budget is going to maximize the amount of money you can save, pay off debt, and in the future invest. So that's kind of where you want to get to the point to be. So a lot of people think about the budget as like a limiting spending, like, oh, I can only spend $200 of food, in this month. But I mean, in a way it is, but if that's kind of like a negative, thought behind it. So the way I think of it is I get to spend $200 a month. Like, it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's just a different thought process. It's more of a positive thought behind it. So if you put, $200 for your food budget in the month, say, okay, I'm allowed to spend $200 this month, not I only can spend $200. In the end, it's the same $200, but this might give a little more positive aspect behind it. So once your budget is completed and you know what's coming in, what's going out, and which category it's going into, the next step, I believe, is really getting rid of all of your consumer debt. So consumer debt is really just taking the life out of you. It's like a parasite that's stuck on you and just sucking every little thing out of you. So these are things like credit cards, auto loans. That's why budgeting is the first step. Budgeting will create that surplus that then you can use to pay off your debts. So there's kind of two different methods. So there's the snowball method and the avalanche method. So the snowball method really, you line up all of your debts from smallest to largest in balance. So if you had a balance of $500 on this credit card and your auto loan was $10,000, you're going to pay the credit card off first. But let's say you had a $700 credit card and a $500 credit card. You would then still pay the $500 credit card first, regardless of interest rate. And this is meant to You just get traction. So you're going to be paying the smaller one off first, and it's kind of like a psychological thing. So because you're paying the smaller one off first, that one's going to be done, and then you can roll all of that money that you were paying that one into the next one. So it's kind of like, you pay all the little guys and you feel like you're doing something because you are. You're paying off all your debt. It's not the best way financially, but if you put all of the psychological things that it's doing, it can keep you on track and actually keep you into paying that debt. So the other way is the avalanche method, and that is you just line up all of your debts with the highest interest rate, and then you tackle the highest interest rate first. Well, that probably is the most financial way because you are paying the balance of the highest interest rate down first. So you're actually saving more money that way. But sometimes people don't like that because sometimes their highest interest rate is their highest balance. So they're just chugging along, paying this giant mountain of a debt off, and they kind of feel like they're not getting anywhere. Whereas the snowball method, you're paying all the little ones off, so you're kind of feeling like you're actually doing something. In the end, decide whichever one works for you. As long as you continue to pay off these balances, these debts, honestly, both ways in the end are going to be great financial stories. Debt really is keeping the middle class in the middle class, and even lower than that. If you get paid and you have all these different entities and people coming in your check, taking all of your money, you can't really use that money to create more money in the future. Nearly 80% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and paycheck to paycheck means you get your paycheck, you pay your bills, and then you wait for your next paycheck, and then you pay your bills, and then you wait for your next paycheck, and it's just an endless cycle of just paying for the bills and not having anything to grow for the future. Okay, so and that's nearly 80% of working Americans. So it's like that's 8 out of 10 people just doing that and not being able to create financial success for their future. So that's a huge thing. Paying off debt would help this because if you don't have to pay $1,000 to credit cards and auto loans and all these other things per month, you could then use that $1,000, invest that $1,000, or save that $1,000. Just do something better than paying it to other people. Then in the future, that $1,000 is going to grow, to crazy. Depending on how much time, that can grow to millions. Yeah. So the less money you have going out towards debt means the more money you have, you can save and invest and set yourself up for the future. But don't give in to lifestyle inflation. Okay. So every time you get a raise, don't look at that as, oh, I got a raise, I have more money to go spend it on, things that, doesn't help this financial situation. Say, oh, I got a raise, I can use that to pay off my debts quicker, I can use that to save more. Do that. And don't look at other people and see what they have, and don't just go out and buy what they have just because, you want to kind of keep up with everyone's standard of living. So the next step in this plan is to create an emergency fund. So, a lot of people say create an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months. I usually lean towards the higher end of that. So like 6 months, you really want to have a solid 6 months of just emergency fund waiting in a savings account or a high yield savings account, somewhere that's completely liquid that you can get to your money whenever you need it, within, minutes. So this really is just to be there. If anything comes up, such as like a job loss or, something major in your life happened to where, you need to stop doing everything and you need to have some money. The purpose of this emergency fund isn't really to make money off of. So, let's say you spend $4,000 a month. So you're going to multiply that by 6 months. So to get your emergency fund, that's going to be $24,000. So you do 4,000 times 6 months, $24,000 emergency fund. So instead of like investing this $24,000, what you're going to do is you're just going to keep it in a savings account or a high yield savings account, something that you can get to your money quick. You don't want the market to tank. If you have all this money in the market, you don't want the market to tank and then, emergency happens and then all of a sudden you have like a third of, a half of your money left. So keep it somewhere safe. It's not there to make money. We'll cover that later. But, this is going to be something that, once this is completed, you're really on your way to financial stability. So the next step is really the wealth building step. So once you have all of your debts paid off, You have this emergency fund. Right now, this is the perfect time to throw all of your money at investing. The quicker you can get out of debt and do all these things, the more time you have for your money to grow. If your job offers a 401k plan, do that and make sure, if they offer a match, throw as much money as you can into that. There's Roth IRA options. That's tax-free, so the growth in that is going to grow tax-free. So when you take it out at retirement, all of that money that you see there is completely yours. You can get into individual stocks. You can buy index funds. There's so many things out there that can help you generate money. But as long as you have no debts, as long as you have nothing taking all of that money away from you, you can throw all of that money into the stock market. You have your emergency fund. You're set up in a great position to start investing. So once the emergency fund of 6 months is done, you're pretty much in a great spot. You have no debts. Emergency fund is fully funded. You can start investing. You have a lot of money to play around with. You can do certain, other things that you weren't able to do before, just because there was no room to do anything. But now that you have all that room to invest and do things that you want to do now, you're pretty much at the financial peace level. You still need to work. You're not really necessarily financially independent. That kind of comes later when your investments start generating an income for you. So this step might take a while to get to that financially independent area, but really this is an extremely comfortable living personal finance. If you made it here, you're in a great great spot. So good job on that. But that's pretty much it. That's my steps to financial peace. Currently, I'm still working. I have a goal of paying my mortgage off in 5 years. So if you'd like to just follow along that journey, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you've liked this video, and share it with some friends. I'm really here to just kind of bring out all the facts. I'm trying to lay out everything so that, whatever would work for you best, just do it. So that's pretty much it. So this is Eric from Easy Finance. Until next time.